Welcome everyone to our real estate and property management webinar today, talking about digital technology opportunities. We say good morning to our folks attending in Pacific and Mountain Time, and good afternoon to those of us on the East Coast and those in the Central. My name is Tom Kolop, and I'll be your moderator for today. We welcome you on behalf of BerkOne and MetaSource. We know your time is extremely precious, and we appreciate you attending our webinar today to talk about how workflow and content management can help your real estate or property management company. We wish to tell you up front that the webinar recording will be made available to all attendees, and there is also a handout of our slides available in the handout section of your menu. So please don't hesitate to grab that, and then you'll receive a link that you'll be able to get to the webinar if you wish to pull it out. We would like to also encourage you, as we go through the webinar, to put in any questions that you have for the speakers, and that would be in the question box. Just use it like a question chat. And then we will collect those, and during the webinar we will try to respond to all of them. If we don't respond to a specific question, then we will get back to the questioner. So I'd like to introduce the folks that will be on the webinar today. My name is Tom Kolop. I'm the VP of Marketing Compliance here at BerkOne. The second speaker will be Scott Whiting. He works for us as a solutions architect at BerkOne, and he has many years experience architecting solutions for a variety of industries, but has very content specific experience in real estate and property management. And the third person who was scheduled to speak today, who is on the phone but is on mute, is Victor Flores, who's Regional Solutions Director for BerkOne. And he also has a lot of experience in the property management and real estate industries. Unfortunately, Victor is feeling under the weather and won't be talking today. But Victor is your source of information, and the person that, if you want to learn more about this, to follow up with. His email was on the invitations, his phone number was as well, and he is vflores@berkone.com, and that will be up at the end of the presentation as well. We'd like to jump in and talk about our objectives for today. We want to help address big picture concerns in real estate and property management. This isn't just about technology. This is about how technology can serve you with the challenges that you face today. We'd like to help you understand how the technology we have helps you extend the property management and accounting systems that you have today. We are not trying to sell you a new property management system or accounting system or make you aware that we have something like that. We understand that the real estate and property management industries have some very favorite softwares that they use. And our opportunity is to allow you to extend them to help people be even more productive and help your clients to have a better experience. And specifically, we want to talk about workflow and content management technologies and how those will help you deal with the industry challenges that you face. Here's just a little word cloud. As we did our research, we found many different streams of thought about what were the big challenges that people faced in your industry from looking at a variety of surveys, etc. And we'll come back to this slide presented in a little bit different way. But we know that this is a very competitive industry, and it's an industry that's under continuous pressure to continue to perform. We also know from the research we've done that the pressure is on the individuals as well to meet tenant expectations, to reduce operating costs, and to feel great about working every day, that you've got some control and you're confident about your operations. So we understand that there are opportunities to help you address this constant pressure. The other thing that we were very interested in learning, and the source of this is Deloitte Consulting, a very reputable firm, they basically said, even though there's a lot of technology that's in the corporate real estate and property management business, the pace of adopting advanced technologies is somewhat slow compared to other industries. And the little slide is just illustrating other industries, and the orange one illustrating what might be representative of the real estate and property management industry. Just, you get there, but just not quite as fast as some of the other industries. So let's go back to that word cloud. There were a few words in green there, and we're going to go back over those now. What we've discerned from some various surveys is that efficiency is one of the main things that people talk about in your industry, as we need to be more efficient. For us to be able to meet our goals, we need to be able to do things more efficiently. Well, there's an opportunity with the workflow and content management systems that we can bolt on to your existing systems. We can help people be more efficient. The next thing is maintenance. Now, whereas we can't help in any way, shape, or form with the actual people who are helping with the maintenance, etc., we can help to assign work orders, to monitor what goes on, to allow you to gain a better sense of control around maintenance. The third one is growth. Everybody's always concerned about growth. And what being more efficient will do, and addressing the bottom two as well, vendor management and staffing, that will allow you to have more time to be able to focus on growing your business, not just worried about the administrative functions inside your business, but actually being able to work on your business instead of constantly being in your business. The next one is vendor management. This particular one we can help a lot with, because in workflow software, we can help you understand what your processes are in dealing with vendors, and we can help automate those document workflows, payments, accounts payable, invoices, etc., that you have and you may be doing through a portion of your system, but still doing part of that manually. We can help to automate a lot of that and free up time. And the last one is staffing. We've been looking across a lot of industries, and we see this trend come up everywhere. Everyone says, I can't find the right people to work in my business, and when I get somebody that's good, I can't necessarily hang on to them. Where we can help people with staffing is in several ways. Make their onboarding experience outstanding, so they right off the bat feel that this is a great company to work for. Look how they onboarded me, they trained me, I know what I'm supposed to do. The entire process, I used my mobile phone to apply. All the documentation is available online. I don't have to fill out forms on paper. That helps you to then have all of these pieces of record electronically, and be able to manage your staff files in a very modern way. all these things put together, then in summary, can help you deal with your clients in a different way, because your clients are getting younger and younger all the time, and all the young clients, we'll call them the millennials, they expect to have a very slick customer experience. They want to be working on their mobile phones. They want to sign documents on their phone or their tablets. So they're very tech savvy. And to the extent that we want to attract and keep those customers, we have to evolve and become more tech savvy as well. Now, this slide I'm going to turn over to Scott, who is our specialist in the systems that relate to property management and real estate. And he's going to take the presentation through a few slides. We're going to show a small video, and then we're going to do a little demo, and then come back and talk a little bit more about how all this might work for the property management and real estate industry. Scott, if you're ready, take it away.
I am, and thank you very much, Tom. What we're looking at today, and this is only going to be a couple of slides, and then we'll jump right directly into a bit of a demo. Because this is a really, we'd like to think of this as a little bit of an interactive experience for the folks that have joined us today. Please type in any questions that you may have. I am going to touch upon the digital transformation and a little bit on the workflow, as you'll see. So please, we welcome the questions, and we'll get to those after the demo. Really what we hear, and this is the solution, and we're providing solutions for our clients. What we hear today is it's just not, they don't want tech. They don't want a bunch of tech overloading them to the point where they can't do what they need to do daily. They want solutions. Solutions are part of their business solution. It's their line of business. They want it to join together. They want from the IT departments. We've heard that and applied less of a IT footprint, and this is huge. We're no longer installing desktop clients. Everything is working off a web browser. We're not tied to any one particular web browser to view the digital transformation, giving your IT department more flexibility in actually, less responsibility. So today we're talking about solutions, and not just, driving some tech as your end-all solving problems. In my next slide, the application extender shows you where this digital transformation is happening. And Tom, if you'll advance to the next slide. Thank you. And if you look at this from the left to right, I'm going to start from the left-hand side. This is where your information is coming from. Certainly, this world today, we have digital content to start, but we still drive paper. It really is quite amazing. There is quite a bit of paper out there. But today, when we're talking solution, we don't want to talk about just a scanning solution. We want to talk about a solution that captures data from all sorts of sources. And that's what you see on the left-hand side here. These are our information sources. They can be coming in through emails, they can be coming through faxes, they can be digitally information that's being stored on your network. We all know we store some stuff on our desktop, we store it on network drives. How do we put that into one location? We call it a repository. This is the digital transformation of gathering that data. We have capture products. We have capture products that intelligently capture data out of what's coming in. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Then we have our repository, and that is the application extender is one of our pieces in our solution here. Our solution, this is the core product of the digital transformation. And this helps you deploy this out to your properties. When we meet up with the corporate headquarters, the first thing I hear is, well, the property managers are out in the field. They can't be coming into the office to look at paper. And the first thing I say is, we've got you covered. They only need a sit at their PC, a web browser, a tablet. We have a mobile device. We have a mobile app that allows them to look at the digital content on their phone. So the repository now is reaching out to everyone and giving them accessibility. You can organize it, you can find it, and then of course you can display it. But today, the demands are not just the technology to store the data. You're doing that perhaps on your desktop. It is the demand here today is we want to extend that. It's an electronic file now. We want to make some decisions on it. We want to make sure that we have all of the files put together. We want to be able to do some analytics. That process is through the Workflow Manager. And Workflow Manager gives you that capability of now making decisions as a live digital document that is stored in the repository. And lastly, on the right-hand side here is once it's stored, once it's living as a document, how do I connect it to my line of business? We're not here as a solution provider to you. We're not here to replace your Microsoft Dynamics or the PeopleSoft or the Yard. Yet these systems are your line of business. They stay in place. We image enable. In other words, we connect to it. We allow connections into the repository so you can work within your line of business and view your digitally stored information. You can work within Microsoft Office, Word, Excel. You can work in your email and access your digitally stored information and send right from your email box to the application extender right on the toolbar. So we truly enable your line of business so that we don't disrupt what your people already know, what they use today. On my next slide, I'm going to show the application extender view and how does this, equate into a enterprise versus departmental, and how does the look and feel of the application extender repository look? And if you look at the slide here, you can see we call them applications. Those truly are your departments. Those are your filing cabinets. It's HR, it's AP, it's your contract, it's legal. But if you notice, it's a very modern look. As Tom said, we have people that are demanding, we don't want something that looks old. We want a cell phone type looking application with blocks we can click and things like that. This product is there. We have a product, we have the menu drivens, and of course, this is HTML5 across all browsers, giving you that capability. Any device that supports the HTML5 will display our content. In the next slide, I'd like to show you the AX workflow, and this is where the intelligent decision-making process happens. You tell us the rules. We have property management systems out there, AP. This is a very paper-driven, a very labor-intensive process, particularly in the property management arena, where you have properties that are they're getting invoices from all sorts of different sources. Their vendors send them to the property. They had to be pushed to the corporate office for approval. And this process takes time. All of a sudden, you're late, you're incurring late fees, things are getting missed, somebody's not approving something, and it's causing a lot of pain in the property management industry in terms of you want to get things paid. It only saves the company money. You want to streamline the process. A property manager should be managing a property, not worried about, did I pay that bill or not? Or did I approve this? Or should I have sent that to somebody? We have the workflow process management engine that bolts on to the content management system. And this, in its design, is meant to be something that you customize. We come in, do an analysis of design, we discover what your needs are, and then we translate that into a solution, not just a technology, but a solution that serves both you and your clients. Your clients maybe contracts that need to be approved, the HR, new hires. We all demand that that capability of instant access, and that's what we provide. And the engine here gives you decision making, reporting, it gives you process, and then of course the integrated service. We need information from your line of business. Of course we do. To make a decision, you may have to look at your line of business and say, hey, I've got this data out here, PO data. We need to have information about vendors, things like that. We have integrated services to look directly into your line of business and feed it to the workflow engine and display it to the end user, and that would be your property managers. They would see it. They wouldn't even have to go into your line of business. It would be presented to them in one location, and that would be the workflow. And then on my last slide here, we're going to transition into a quick little video that will display the workflow and give you kind of an idea of the workflow map and the ability to watch the system time, the timing of whatever is being monitored by the workflow engine, and have that capability to do analytics. So we're going to go ahead and start the video right now, and I'll be right back.
Introducing Application Extender Workflow Manager from OpenText. Workflow Manager extends the use of Application Extender's content repository by routing content based on time and/or event-based business rules. As a result, organizations can reduce mundane manual tasks while streamlining common processing tasks. A good example of this is with AP invoice processing. Here I have an invoice in my AP file cabinet in Application Extender. I need to get the data from this invoice into my financial ERP system. With Workflow Manager, I have a simple workflow that ensures that the right reviewer has approved the invoice. I have a branch set up for both PO and non-PO invoices with work queues associated with each. When the reviewer approves the invoice, I have a step in the workflow to automatically export the data into the financial system without any manual entry of data. Other time and rules-based processes are perfect for Workflow Manager. For example, a new employee onboarding process, or a new or expiring contract. Any situation where time is of the essence, Workflow Manager is always watching the clock. Part of the Application Extender family of products, Workflow Manager delivers efficient processing in a timely manner, with notifications and external systems integration techniques that keeps content moving forward.
Very good. Excellent. So from here, I'm going to dive directly into the demo. And again, I'll say this again, I said it before, but please ask any questions that you may see here. This is the Workflow Council. I'm going to get back to this if we have time in the webinar, but I'm going to jump into the Application Extender core, and this is your core product. When we talk about digital transformation, we talk about taking all those sources, again, the stuff that's sitting on your desktop, the stuff that's coming in emails, the stuff that you have in filing cabinets that you're struggling to, what do we do with this paper? Gosh, I wish I could find a place to store it and find it. This is Application Extender. We talked about AP a little bit, and this is what I'll focus on a little bit here today. AP, and again, these are your applications. These are your filing cabinets for different departments. Application Extender can be deployed at a department level. It can be deployed all the way up through an enterprise-wide system, allowing users rights and access to multiple applications, just one application. So understand that when we're talking about a repository, the digital transformation, the great thing here is that the solution provides control, and it provides auditing, and it provides access, and the IT people love that. Today, we're all looked upon to control our data and make sure that the right people have it at the right time. And Application Extender repository gives you those tools. Finding a document and simply running a query. You search for your document. This is all of the data that you could search on it. And by the way, this is customizable data. None of this is set in stone. We, again, come in, as we've done for many property management systems, we sit with you, we talk about how you index your data, how you find your data. Then we translate it into the digital world. We say, okay, some stuff's stored in these folders, some stuff are stored in paper, some stuff are coming in an email. How do we put that all together? Again, solutions. We have solutions for the industry, and we've streamlined the industry to make it much more efficient so the users can do what they do best, and that is focusing on property management. We have our index data here. Again, this is customizable. We can name all these fields what you would like. The data itself can be very flexible, and yet we can apply rules around that data. We can tell it not to allow so that you don't get bad data in. When you're searching for a document, we have some nice little things that, again, the demand here is simple, easy, a solution. We have this capability to look at the first page of a document, and you may say, oh, yeah, that's the invoice that I was looking for. It's great that I've got a pop-up. I don't have to launch it. Now you just click on it, and you are directly into the page. You view the page. This is your viewer here. And if you notice up at top here, we have little breadcrumbs. I like to call them breadcrumbs. This is, again, a technology today is evolving, and it's helping you move more efficiently through the digital transformation. I can always go back to a new search. I can run, go back to my query results. But here I'm going to spend a little time on the image itself. With these tool sets here, we can do all sorts of stuff with this image itself. We have this capability of annotations. Annotations, again, we're talking about a repository not as an archive, but as a live document. Perhaps that this was an incorrect invoice, and perhaps it wasn't Microsoft Office 2000 that was incorrect, and you wanted to email this document off, and you wanted to highlight it or mark it up to have anybody see what the, when you're emailing this document, you want that information to be given to the individual in an email, and say, hey, this is incorrect, please check this, anything like that. This annotation process can be used internally, can be used externally as an email or exported out as a PDF. This is an overlay. This is pretty important. We do not burn in any kind of annotation on top of the document or in the document. It's an overlay that's on top. It can be turned on and off. This is very critical in, let's say, HR documents. You want to put all your HR documents into one location, repository, and you perhaps have a management executive in a property that would like to see what an HR document for a specific employee has, but you need to redact or hide specific sensitive information that even the manager shouldn't see, only HR. Well, you can certainly do that through the annotation process. You can put a redaction on the document, and when the user at the property level, when the manager at the property level receives it, or if they view it with an application extender, they can't turn on and off based on their security, the redaction. That way, you know that that data has been secured and that user has not been allowed to see that sensitive data. So annotations are a huge part of the life cycle of any digital repository. We have versioning control, and I'm going to go back to my query results. And in versioning control, what does that do for you? Versioning control has the capability of, you can check out a document. You can go out through the checkout process. You can check this document out. You can make a modification to that document. You can modify if it's a Word document, if it's an Excel spreadsheet, you can modify that document, and then you can check it back in. And you can see a history of what that versioning gives you. You can put in, the name was changed here. In that versioning, you changed the vendor name was incorrect, or the amount of this invoice was incorrect. You needed to keep the original, but you also need to have the modified version. And you may have to go back to the original. And this gives you that capability of opening up the revision. Just like in your filing cabinet, you're always going to see the last one put in, right? You put it in front of the a version in front, so that when you open up your folder, there's the very first one. It's the latest and greatest. That's the way we display it in the application extender. This is very helpful with contracts, by the way. We have one property management client that they go through multiple revisions of a contract before they get to that final version. And yet, many times they need to go back to the original agreement and look at the original agreement. They love this. They love this capability of going back and forth and looking at the original. In the actual document itself, we have text searching, we can email, we can export. Of course, we can print. If we have a very large document, we can print just 1, 7, 8 page. We can select the number of pages to print or email. So a very flexible system for your end users. I'm going to go back to the query results. And within the query results, we see all of this information that comes across here. We can see little icons that says that this is a checked out document. Again, a checked out document gives you that capability of revisions, but it also locks a document down in terms of modifying it. So in the case scenario where corporate is making changes to a contract, we don't want the property to be also making changes, and we get kind of conflicting changes in our contract. So we can check a document out. The property can always look at it in its original state, but that document being checked out to the corporate office is read-only to the property, but to the corporate, they can make the modifications and then they check it back in. These operations here, and when we get back to the query results, and we look at going through and saying, oh, you know what, when I'm looking for stuff, how does this help me? All this index data is searchable, but not only can you put in some or none and get everything back, we can do within the application extender, we can do within the actual body of the document, we can do the title, author, comments, owners, and search on that. We can also do full text searching in our system. We can type in Kopax and run a quick little search. And as you can see, I have come up with 2 different documents. I can open up a document, and you can see that I have now come up with a result set with finding Kopax. I can go back to my search. Perhaps this wasn't the right one. Perhaps I wanted to open up the other one and see the hits that I have. And you can see that when I find the hits in the PDF file, I can jump from one page to another. And you can see that this is highlighted. This is very helpful with contracts. As we all know, the contracts can get very wordy. Perhaps we're looking for something very specific with perhaps a vendor or a client. Perhaps it's a client, and we've seen this where the client has said, hey, you know, this was incorrect in the contract. Simply doing a quick word search finds it in the contract and gives you that capability to make that change very quickly. Okay. In the application extender, again, this is your repository. This is your digital transformation of all that you've collected in the background, put it into the system, but it is, again, a live document that you want that capability of making decisions on. That is the workflow piece of it. The workflow piece of it is a module that comes with our solution that is part of, it's one of many modules. And I'll preface this, that the content management and digital transformation is, our solution is you purchase what you need. We have a core product, and if you don't need a fancy dancy capture up front, we don't provide that to you. You don't have to pay for it. You're not buying a $1 million system that gets all the bells and whistles and you never use it. How frustrating is that? So we have these modules, and this is what I'm going to be talking about today, is our workflow module. Our workflow module gives you the capability of routing information that's stored within the digital repository to different users. And I'm using this as a contract. This is a contract management workflow. You can have a workflow for HR. Perhaps it's making sure that all the documents are signed, gathered, it's routed to the correct management executive on a property. The approval, yep, I approve this. This is a great employee, made comments on it, things like that. This here is a contract management workflow, and this is my inbox based on my login. When I go to open up the actual login, type in. This pulls directly from the repository. Your repository is storing the contract information. This is your decision-making process on the side here. And I can't emphasize this enough. This is customizable. This can be an AP information that you're collecting. This could be HR information that you're collecting. This could be maintenance schedules. This could be routing to, if you have a very specific schedule that you have to have, and we've applied this, and we've made that efficient process, that transition from, hey, I forgot that I needed to get this work done. This sets out reminders. This sets out email notification. Hey, your work needs to be accomplished by this period of time. And the users have this capability to come in and say, yep, I did my work. I checked that boiler. I checked this. We're done. This is good for the next 30 days. So this is all very, very customizable to your needs. We certainly come in and work with you and do an analysis and discover what are your rules. They may be quite different in the electronic world versus the paper world. We certainly will drive that efficiency. We're going to make it easier for you. We're going to make it easier for from the maintenance people to the AP folks, to the contract, to legal. We are going to make it easier and more efficient for you to conduct what you know best, and that is property management. Perhaps we're looking in this contract here, and as I noted a little earlier, hey, we need to change something. We need to change something within the contract, and we need to find it first in the contract. So how do I do that? This is the digital transformation. You find it quickly. You get to that one location where it's at. Now you know where you need to make that decision. And these are the tool sets that the digital transformation gives you, and gives you very, very well. These buttons down through here, again, all of this is customizable to your needs and the way that the workflow flows and the decision-making process is customizable. And I can show you that pretty quickly. I'll show you a workflow map. You can see here, I have multiple maps in here. So this is not a solution of one piece of technology just for contracts. This is not a one technology piece only for contracts. We can use this technology as a solution across the enterprise property management environment. So to help you out, we can build multiple workflows and allow access to those multiple workflows. And this is the build. We saw it a little bit in the video. It is a very simple process. If you notice, everything's GUI driven here. There is, of course, we need to have an understanding. Of course, there's customization to this, but the beauty of technology today is it's getting simpler and it's getting less complicated to develop, deploy, and implement into your environment. Time and time again, we've heard from property management, yes, we want this, but we don't want to spend a year developing it. We don't need a year. We can quickly come in here, we can work up a workflow map, and we can make some decision processes happen here, review contract. These are modular, they're simple to program, reducing the cost and the IT footprint and the effort for your folks, once you own the system, to manage it, to get into it, to give you that capability of ownership of your system. And I can tell you that I've heard great things that, oh, this is just wonderful. We can own this. We don't have to look 1,000 lines of code. We can look at a step and understand exactly what's happening in that step and take action or changes if we need to. So this is in the workflow mapping. and multiple workflows that can be built for your industry. And we certainly have seen that. Everything that I've shown, of course, reports, the reports themselves, going into reports, this is critical for any kind of workflow and knowing where your stuff is, analyzing transactions, execution, where is my stuff? What is this stuff happening today? Activity time details, we talked about that. Hey, you know what? We need to know what is the average time of an activity, how can we improve it? Escalation reports. Maintenance has to be completed. We all have our regulations in the industry that it is required, and if it's not done, we could possibly face fines. So how does this help us? Well, we have an escalation process, and it's simply an AP invoice. If it's not paid on time, you're going to be penalized. We can save you money by ensuring through an escalation report and notification that those invoices are getting paid. And in terms of what we've seen in the property management systems, this is huge because so many properties are separate. So many properties end up running rather independently, and they get their own invoices. It's a struggle to get through the whole paying process, where these tools, these solutions, give you that instant access, looking into what you have as a global view and making instant decisions and having that capability to save your money and your company money. That is on the reporting. We have certainly, I've only touched, I would have to say, on maybe 10% of all of the digital transformation that we can provide to you. We really didn't talk about capture too much. We have capture tools. We have data analytics. We have all sorts of fun stuff that in modular form that we can talk about. We do this in a analysis and design. We discover what your needs are. We discover where we can save you money, time, and driving that efficiency through our solution. I would like to, we are coming up on our time for the webinar itself. I would like to, I see, let's see, I'm sure we have some questions. Tom, you've been our moderator, and you've been doing a great job here. Thank you so much. Did we have some questions that perhaps came in that I can answer?
Yes, Scott. Yes, absolutely. We've had several questions come in, and I'm going to start with the first one that builds off the last point that you made. A questioner said, my company has MEs, management executives, in many locations. Do the approval workflows work when people are spread out in different offices?
Absolutely. Again, this is it's a web browser base. Everything you've seen, I've been running out of Chrome. We could, and this is the Chrome down here. Oh, actually, you're not seeing it, but out of Chrome, it could be IE. If you have a device, Safari supports HTML5. If you have a device that can display a web page, the outside external clients can access. Another thing that I didn't touch upon is we have licensing for, it's a read-only type licensing. It gives you that capability. Perhaps the properties only look at AP invoices. They never modify them. They want to go back, they want to look at it, there's a question about it, but they're not using the full-blown repository tool set. We can provide for you in managing these properties, reduced cost licensing just based on, they're called PAL licensing, and it's a read-only. And we can also do some, in the background, security around that. we have one property management company that has over 50 properties, and every property management property has their own indicator within a document type, and that's the only documents they see. So to break it down, the invoices at one particular property, even though they log into the repository, they only see theirs. And yet corporate sees all 50 other properties. They see all the properties because they have the rights to. And of course, because the properties are out there, the managers are just reviewing. They don't need a full-blown license. They're just reviewing that document. So we use the PAL licensing. That's
a great answer, Scott. That's excellent. It shows that you can distribute them as you need to, and you can put security on them as you need to. So that's great. Next question. Someone said, when using workflows, if we have documents that need to be signed, do you have a document signing capability? So this would be something, dealing with contracts or leasing agreements, et cetera. So do we have that signing capability?
Yes, we do. We have a client out there, and the bigger ones, DocuSign. We have integrated with DocuSign, allowing that digital signature into the actual content. So it's an integration process. And certainly, yes, we've done that before, and it has made life so much easier for everyone. No longer do you have to route a piece of paper for that physical signature.
Yeah, that's really important when people are in virtual environments, offices spread out all over the place, and clients, who knows where. So next question is, if you're going to add PDFs or Excel spreadsheets or other types of documents to the repository, do they stay in their original format, like an Excel sheet stays an Excel sheet?
Oh, that's a great question. And this really relates, I'm sure, to there was a time that digital transformation changed the file format to a proprietary format, and then it really became a struggle. As I said, I only showed you about 10%, but adding documents to application extender is so easy. Drag and drop, import. You can take a folder of files, put them in. We have import tools. But when you import or you scan or you add documents to your repository, part of the solution is we retain the native format. We do not put a proprietary wrapper. We do not, for the text on the line here, we do not store it in the database. It's a link. It is the information is stored on your network, and it is stored in its original format. That's a great question. So many people were so concerned about the modification of a file when it came into the system, and what if they needed to get that file back out. We have tools within the repository that we can take perhaps a scanned image or an Excel spreadsheet, and perhaps you don't want to send that Excel spreadsheet. It's stored as an Excel spreadsheet, but you want to send it off as a usable format for everybody. The system that we have, the solution we have, will actually email it, export it as a PDF. It's one of the most common file formats out there. It gives everybody access to that content outside of the repository. So great question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. We have a couple more questions. We promised those of you who submitted the questions we'll get back to you, but we know we only have a few minutes left, and so we want to go back to the presentation and end on time, because we respect your time and your attention. We're back on that slide about workflow, and we've gone to the next slide to talk about what are the opportunities here, the real opportunities to help you in your business. And Scott has given the answers over and over again, but we'll say it in a summary way one more time. What can we help you do to your business? First off, We can help you redesign your business processes, not only from the widget level down at the bottom, but looking at it broadly. How does your business process work? How do you want to enable that business process with the technology you have today in your accounting system, in your property management system, and then layer on top of it something that will allow you to make that more productive, allow your documents to flow seamlessly, and allow you to know right where they are all the time. So this is something that as we move forward and we digitize the world, it's important for you to be able to have a view where this tool can help you look across all of your processes, not just paying invoices and not just signing contracts, but anything that involves a core business process in your business. It can be taken through these workflows, as Scott illustrated, and the decisions that you make can be enabled via that technology. One very simple thing is, if you have an AP invoice that's for more than X dollars, $20,000, the management executive may not be empowered to sign that one. They may be able to say, yeah, it's okay to pay, but that's not the final answer. It may need to go to their boss or to central accounting before that decision can be made. That can all be programmed. The next thing is, it allows you to improve your customer service, because many of these documents or transactions have to flow out to your customers. And if you show them a very modern face, it improves your brand image. And the last point, it's very important, is we integrate with your systems that exist. You don't have to throw out what you already have. As we summarize here, one of the surveys that we looked at, BOMA, recommends that people in property management and real estate have to open their mind more to benefits of technology. They have to use that technology broadly and deeply to really get the full benefits. And the key thing for us out of that survey was seek technology partners who will prioritize integration and collaboration with other services. So that is what we'd like to stress here. We're willing to work with what you have to help you get better and to compete on a higher level so that you can win in the marketplace. So just a commercial, BerkOne and MetaSource, we're a very powerful partnership. MetaSource is a strategic partner with OpenText, and OpenText is the exclusive distributor of Application Extender. That's the software we've been talking about today. Application Extender, they say in the industry, AX. Now, BerkOne has been sourcing our OpenText solutions from MetaSource for many, many years. And so we know the right software. As Scott was talking about, we know how to come talk to you and figure out what you need to try to design up the right solution, and you can then have a state-of-the-art solution. In the end, what happens here? You get to reduce your expenses, you get to increase your compliance, which becomes so critical these days, and improve your competitiveness, and in the end, make yourself a more profitable organization. So we want to thank you so much for your attention today. Thanks for being on the webinar. If you would like more information, there's only one thing you need to do, and that's to write down Victor Flores's email or go back to the invitation and find his email or his phone number. That's vflores, VFLORES, at BerkOne.com. You get a hold of Victor and he will be able to arrange to answer your questions and to arrange any kind of a custom demonstration for you. We're going to end now once we say thank you again, and we sincerely thank you for being here, and we'd like you to answer our little 2-question survey at the end. Thanks again, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Bye-bye for now.